Hi everyone, welcome to Papa's Workshop. Today we're doing something a little bit different and it's kind of crazy. I got my shop all cleaned up and I started looking around. I said, you know what? I still got a lot of wasted space. So we tore everything apart and I'm reorganizing the shop today. It's not going to take just one day. It's going to take several days, probably a couple of weeks. But at any rate, I think it's going to be a lot better. So let's get started. So the old home for the CNC machine is now home for shelves. Now granted guys, the top shelf's going away. It's just got a bunch of junk piled up there right now. But all my paints, all my tools that are remaining in the boxes are on that shelf. My paint sprayers are going to be on there. And my large framing nailing gun. Other than that, that top shelf is going to get cleaned off. I moved my bandsaw and drill press over there. And in this corner, which was pretty much useless before, I now have it completely organized with my roll-around cabinet. All my paint tools are in one place, so that's going to work out a whole lot better. If you remember from a lot of the old videos, this little cubby hole was jam-packed full with tools. Now I have a dedicated place for the CNC machine, and it's not taking up floor space in the shop. So this is going to work out a whole lot better. And yes, I do have the plugs that were added. And I put in a brand new circuit with that. And I do have the panels that will go below. But that's going to be for another day. After clearing out all the stuff from this little cubby, it was time to add the new circuit. And one of the things that I like to do when the line comes in for the power, I like to mark it with a P. The other thing I'll do too is I'll make sure that the power is connected to the bottom part of the plug. Now just so you know, I am running 12-2 wire, and that's the reason that the coating is yellow. And the other thing that I'm doing, this will be so that I can put in a 20 amp circuit. The plugs that I'm using are also 20 amp. And what I'm doing now is just stripping the wires so that I can put them and attach them to the plug. These are the type of plugs that I'm using for this installation. Now these plugs are designed so that once you loosen the screws, you can just slip the wire straight in. Now again, the gold screw is for the black wire or the hot lead. And again, that's the power side, so it's going in on the bottom. And this just makes things simpler later on when you have to come back and do some maintenance or do any type of upgrade. You know exactly where the power is coming in because you have it marked, and you also have a system that you know is going to be on the bottom. Then the next thing I do, I just turn the plug over to the other side, and you notice that the screws are silver. The silver is where the common wire or the white wire will be attached. And again, the bottom wire is where the power feed comes in, and then the line for the top will be attached there. Again, the white, common, goes with the silver screws. The last thing that I'm going to work on is the ground wire. The two ground wires that are left will just get twisted together. And I'll twist those with the electrical pliers so that they're nice and secured and that they're going to be tight. I do not want any type of movement on these wires or any of the other wires in the box. Once I have it done, I'll just cut it off because I only need one wire that will be attached to the plug. The next thing that I do is take the electrical pliers on the very end of the wire and make a little hook. That is so that it can be attached to the screw for the ground. Now the ground screw is colored green, and that's going to attach so that when I tighten it, the wire actually will continue to go around tighter. And that completes the wiring. All that's left is put the plug into the box. Now I continue to do the same thing for the rest of the plugs, where I just attach them, put the wires in, and then I fold the wires neatly so that the plug will sit into the box without any problems at all. And just screw it in place from there. Now I'm sure some of you are going to point out the obvious, that the sheetrock is not taped and floated and it hasn't been painted. So why am I completing the electrical? Well, main reason is I want to keep the shop functional. I needed to be able to have this circuit added to be able to keep the shop function. I only had one outlet over in this little cubby hole because this area was designed as storage to begin with. So to be able to keep the CNC machine operational and me continuing to be able to work in the shop, I needed to have the electrical done now. So in a later video, I'll be coming back and I'll be taping floating, and I'll also be putting concrete board down at the bottom. Now while I was putting the boxes together and wiring up the plugs, I had my son run the wire from the electric panel over to my plug. This was a lot easier for him to do that than me, because I quite frankly didn't want to climb up on the ladder and be able to do all that. So he ran the wire and then stapled it in place. Several years ago, I had put in a sub panel to be able to have an additional 100 amp service to be able to run into the shop. So this gives me plenty of opportunity to be able to add power as I need to various places in the shop. And yes, indeed, that has come in handy over time. Now, a couple things I didn't mention. Always make sure that the power is turned off before you work on the electrical boxes. And quite frankly, because I didn't mention that, because there was no wire running to it to begin with. This was a brand new circuit, and I had started at the end with the plugs. The other thing that I wanted to point out is I'm not going to show the actual connection of the wiring into the box. The reason being is that can be quite dangerous if you're not familiar with what you're doing. And I strongly suggest that you hire a qualified electrician to be able to do this for you rather than taking any safety risk whatsoever. And the other thing that I want to point out, on my panel I do have the ability to turn that sub panel completely off so that there is no power run into it whatsoever while I connect those wires. But again, hire a qualified electrician if you're not 100% positive that you know exactly how to connect the wires. Always safety first. That's the most important thing. And I really want to thank my son for helping, because he was a big help and made it much easier for me. Well, day one was a success. I've got this corner cleaned out, and that white shelf with all the paint products on was a nice addition, being able to cut it down from that great big tall shelf that had no home. Well, I've been able to completely clear out this cubby hole, move the CNC machine into this area, add my brand new circuit with the additional plugs. New lights have been added, not only in the cubby hole, but also in the shop. All in all, great day. Hi everyone, thank you for watching my video today. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified on the different videos that I upload. Also, check out the videos over here to be able to stay up to date on the happenings in my shop. So again, thank you for watching my videos.